Hello, my name is Fenna. Welcome to Following Fenna. I'm a certified coach and counselor, and I work with people in a limerence episode and also with their partner. Now, when people in limerence go no contact and they enter the grief phase, they often worry. They experience so much pain and confusion and shame, and it can take so long. They can think that there is something wrong with them. Well, I'm here to tell you there is nothing wrong with you. You are grieving, and that is actually a really good sign. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you why. First, there's panic because of the overwhelming pain and the anxiety and the stress a person entering grief can feel. But also, after a few months, still feeling bad, they can start to worry and thinking, is this my new normal? Am I ever going to be okay and going to feel better? I remember writing in my diary after 1.5 years, I'm meditating my butt off and I still feel like ... I was done. I wanted the pain to be gone. I wanted to be happy again. But my grief was not done with me. Not yet at that moment. And in other videos, I also talk about how grief opens up earlier grief. In grief, we often grieve so much more than just one person. We grieve all kinds of things. The unmet needs, the parents we never had. Maybe we did have parents, but the kind of parents we wanted and never got. The things that did not happen. Now, therefore, grief is an opportunity to tap in old pain and work through old pain. Grieving makes us connected with our feelings again. And I mean the whole palette, not just the feelings that we want to feel, but also the feelings we don't want to feel, which we suppressed. But when you're not aware that you are or you are still grieving, you can think that something is completely wrong. And you can seek out medical help. We can think that we're going insane or that this is really atypical, and we think that this will never end. That's a scary thought, right? Well, I'm going to reassure you, you are going to feel better. That is what grief does. It helps you cope with the transition from the old situation where you still felt or you were attached to the other, to the new situation. But it needs time. More time that you wanted to last, more time than you expected it to last, and more time that you have the patience for. Now, why does it take so long? When, for what reason, a bond breaks with an attachment figure, and that can be anyone, the brain has to form new networks and new pathways. You can see grieving as a form of reshaping and learning. There has to be a transition from the old to the new situation, meaning there has to be a lot of adjustments. Adjusting to a new situation, as in a new reality, but also new future and a new sense of the world. Now, if a bond is broken, our nervous system gets stress, and it actually gives off these seek assignments. The brain sees the disconnecting as a threat to our survival, and we will experience all kind of survival mechanism. The brain will start to obsess over this person, We are being triggered all the time. We are being remembered all the time of this person. We dream about them. We ruminate. We think about, what ifs, and we are missing and we are longing for this person. We are anxious. We're blaming ourselves. All attempts of Mother Nature to seek this person again. We even get a shot of adrenaline to go seek this person again. When we are attached to someone, the brain always tries to predict when we will see this person again, where this person is in the world, and how close we are emotionally. That is also the reason why fights can feel so unsafe and so threatening, because there's unpredictableness in how close we still are after the fight with this person. Now, if the brain detects a disconnect, it wants us to call and text this person and talk to this person and explain again why we leave and drive by and touch and feel the other person. Because if we do, the brain can continue to predict again, and that is what it likes. So not being able to predict is the reason why we get stressed. It's also the reason why we relapse and why it is so hard to not contact them. We have to fight the urge to hold on, and we have to endure the unsafe feelings. Now, people who believe in heaven, and they lost someone over death, and they think about seeing them again later on in heaven, there's scientific proof that this lowers their blood pressure, because the brain can still predict. And that is also why the word never can be so shocking when you just went no contact. And sometimes I tell my clients, if the word never is too scary, just say to yourself, I will not see Elo for a while. Now, what also happens in grief, why it takes so long, is that the brain does not really like incomplete information. It fills in information that is missing. And if you are used to talking to a limerent object on the phone, for example, the phone will make you think of them for a long time. If you are used to wear the color red, red will be triggering you. The brain is trying to put Elo in the place where where they are no longer. And it takes a lot of time and new experience before the brain will override the old experience and suspect the new situation. I mean, for example, when you are used seeing your dog every morning for 15 years, it doesn't just take 2 mornings without your dog to rewrite and to adjust for your brain. It maybe will take a year before you will not automatically reach for the can of dog food. It will take a lot of mornings before the brain can expect the dog not to be there. Now, another very interesting fact about grief is that the brain kind of hopes that it's our own fault that we broke the bond, or that the bond is broken, that we made a mistake. And even if we're determined to go no contact, that's also the reason why we panic and we think, oh my God, what have I done? And then we want them back. The brain wants to think that we made a mistake, because if the brain thinks that it's our fault that this bond is broken, it lets us deal with all kind of unpleasant feelings such as regret, shame, guilt, and all these social emotions, because when the brain thinks, hey, if I make this person regret, they can undo it. They can undo the breaking of the bond. They can make the wrong right again and reconnect. It gives a sense of control to set this right and not make the same mistakes again. That's interesting, right? It's also the reason why everyone who ever experienced a trauma event, it always comes with shame and guilt, even if we have done nothing wrong or we could not have done anything else. Now, I hope that you see, with all this going on, it's no wonder that it takes a lot of time for the grief process to end. It has to completely take down the old situation, but also completely build up the new situation. It takes a really long time to adjust from the old to the new situation. It can take decades, as a matter of speech. And if you are still sad and confused and bargaining with yourself and secretly wanting them back and still hoping that they're gonna connect, and you have feelings and you don't know what's up and down anymore, and you feel wronged and you feel pain, I hope you really realize that your system is working very hard. It just needs more time. Now, how do you know that you are still in grief? I have 20 signs. Are you still thinking a lot about this person and also about what happened, how things ended? And are you ruminating and you still care how they see you? Do you have feelings of pain, both mentally and physically? And is there an intense longing to have any form of contact with this person, even though you know it's not good for you? Do you sometimes question how you relate to life and what your purpose is? Do you have a hard time accepting the situation and, hard time letting go of them? Do you bargain, or do you think of strategies to not accept the reality? Are you thinking of ways to, so you can keep the connection? Do you avoid places that can remind you of the other? Do you get triggered by things that remind you of the other? That could be anything, by the way. Sounds, smells, music, whatever. Do you sometimes feel bitter or wronged or mistreated and angry towards the ending, or angry towards yourself or your limerent object? Do you feel like numbing yourself with drinking or sleeping or distracting or working or binging? Does life seem pretty gray and empty and boring or just meaningless? And when realization sets in, do you feel shock, or do you express or experience physical reactions? Is the word never really painful? Does functioning at work or at home cost you extra energy? Are you more tired and overwhelmed and there's a lot of stimuli? Do you want to make your world a little bit smaller and just stay in more? I see a little blanket on the couch situation. Are you more inactive, and are you less interested in socializing? Do you have a hard time remembering the good times with this person? Do you blame yourself for things that did or did not happen, for the way you behaved? Do you think about the what ifs and how life could have been with the other? Do you feel alone and more distant to others, like you need more time to be on your own? Do you dream about your LO? And I mean vivid dreams sometimes. Do you think back on other things that were painful in your life from the past, other losses, or your life overall? Do you cry and still get very emotional, or do you feel vulnerable? And The last one is, do you regulate your feelings with all pictures or looking at text or looking at them online or looking at X-back videos? Now, if you can say yes to some of these symptoms, no worries, you are still in grief and you are still adjusting, and that is actually incredibly healthy. It means you are in a process to feel better one day. All you can do is give it a lot of time. If you want my help in one-on-one coaching, please send me an email. My email address is in the description below. And for now, I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye.